Okay, I'm gonna keep moving. How many of you have TiVo DVR? Okay, when was the last time anybody actually watched live TV? I mean, really? I cannot sit down and watch an NFL game anymore live. It just drives me absolutely crazy. I hit that fast forward button, I'm like, oh, I'm watching it live, that's right. Does anybody see the wicked growth curve here? Does anybody think this is actually going to slow down? Have we peaked? Of course not. Okay, we've gone far beyond sort of talking at people, forcing people to watch our messages when we want them to watch our messages, to sell stuff at them, to sell stuff to them that they don't want or they don't need. Okay, we are in a permission-based environment right now, and we have got to find ways to talk to people about our products in ways that are timely, relevant, right aperture, right target. So a couple examples of things that we've done here, working specifically with Jamie Oliver and Food Revolution, and also The Biggest Loser. These are both instances, you'll see here a really quick clip here, where we have had, we worked with Jamie Oliver, and Green Giant is a brand that's long been a heritage General Mills brand. The promise of Green Giant is their vegetables picked at the peak of freshness. And another really important message here that I think you'll hear that comes out very organically is that frozen vegetables are actually, in many cases, more nutritious than fresh vegetables. So listen for that. And then we launched a new product called Yoplait Frozen Smoothie. Nobody had ever really seen this product. People weren't sure where to find it in the store, how to make it, et cetera. So you can see here, delivered also in a relevant way to the consumer.
Okay guys, if you want to fire up your woks, that's what we like to see. Let's make sure the mare's got a nice bit of heat. Here's the one thing. I'm going to use frozen veg here, okay? Frozen stuff literally is picked and frozen within a matter of hours, okay? And that does contain, if not more nutrients than the stuff that you'll get in the supermarket that's fresh. Whether you're using the sugar snacks here, peas, you should have all of these in your freezer ready to go.
All right, Tina, you need a snack, right?
Sounds good.
Go into the freezer.
Okay.
It's time for Tina to really realize her true potential. Yoplait's got this new fruit smoothie. There's a new flavor. I think it's what, blueberry pomegranate?
Yeah.
You need milk. We have got to start talking about the right foods to eat. You can use soy milk if you want to.
You just take them and put them in like 8 ounces of milk and dump the berries in and give it a whirl in the blender. It's like a no-brainer, you know, it's measured out, you got your calories, you've got your one serving of fresh fruit for the day. Delicious.
Good, right?
It's really good. So I think it'd be a really great thing to have around the house.
Okay, great. You see they're a lot harder to fast forward through that because it's organically interwoven in the show. And I know all of you, I know you don't really, you're not biased by advertising, and you're certainly not biased by brand integrations into shows. I know that. But something drove the Yoplait Frozen Smoothie. 24 hours after that episode of The Biggest Loser, Yoplait Frozen Smoothie, #2 most searched item on Google. Okay, so somebody was curious. Okay, big deal when we can get it right. Okay, we don't always get it right, but it's a big deal when we do. So let's talk about this whole marketing in the digital age. Okay, because examples I've given you there are still sort of broadcast, you know, talk about more traditional vehicles, etc. And what does it really mean when we talk about marketing in the digital age and you know, social networking and things? And I know that some of you probably might be engaging in social networking even right now, having comments about the speaker, but I'll ask you to try to avoid that if you can here. But what I wanted to do is show you how we're actually tapping into digital capabilities to really deliver messages to consumers. So what I'm showing you here is I'm airing a little bit of my own dirty laundry here, okay? This was one of the first things I ever worked on at General Mills, okay? Worked on a brand called Nature Valley Granola Bars. Everybody knows it now, but it was this sort of sleepy little Birkenstock granola thing when I started. And my first big marketing campaign was, we scraped enough money together for a print campaign, and we ran in, if you know anything about print media, the most efficient ways to stretch your dollars are always to put it in what you would call the 7 sisters. So we're talking about Better Homes and Gardens, House and Garden, all these sort of what they would call women's service magazines, which are about this thick and absolute wallpaper. And the best benefit that we had to demonstrate to the consumer back in the mid-90s, early 90s was the crunch that satisfies. Pretty proud of that. How many brands out there are grunt cheap? Just think about it for a minute. Kind of a product attribute, not exactly a brand benefit. So, in fact, we later sponsored a ski, like a freestyle ski thing, and I was wearing a Nature Valley hat, and one of the boarders came by me and he goes, "Dude, how's the snow in Nature Valley?" And I said, "Okay, we definitely have a brand problem here." But we had to totally think about what is this brand promise and what does it mean to people. And so from there, actually, this is Nature Valley now. A lot of great product innovation, which is fueled really based upon, again, the insight that consumers define Nature Valley as a destination. They really do. So actually, the stoner that I talked about on the slopes actually did have a key insight if I would have listened to him back then and actually gotten the message. Because it really is a destination. It's a fictitious destination, but it's a place where the Nature Valley consumer, that's their spot, that's their place, that's their love of outdoors. But what they were looking for is really a place or a vehicle to be able to share that with each other. And so we created these things online where people could post their own pictures, their own stories about what is their Nature Valley, what is their version of that ultimate outdoor place that they go and it just does it for them. And so really became a great way to do that. Plus a lot of great sponsorships with the ski team, golf, and other verticals that have since put the brand in relevant places that matter, that are sort of that point of consumption, point of nature. We call it point of nature on Nature Valley, and ways to do that. And then again, extending into all the Facebook and all the social networking as well. So just ways to continue to take that message. And I think if you look at the two, you realize that we actually have come quite a ways since the Crunch That Satisfies. And oh, by the way, the business is about 5 times as big as it was back then too. So consumers are clearly engaged. But digital can be other things too. How many people out there are either celiac or have gluten sensitivities? Okay, a couple of them, okay? This is something that I'm obviously in our health area, and we got phone calls and phone calls and phone calls on this over the course of a number of years, and quite honestly, we just assumed it was the same 3 of you just calling over and over and over again. And what we found was that there was really a dearth of information for people there who were looking to manage this condition, and they had nowhere to go, they had no resources. And these are things that digital tools can allow us to build these communities. So we now have 60,000 people who are in our database, another 60,000 who are Facebook fans of our Live Gluten Freely site, where we can post all of our products, 300 plus General Mills products that are gluten-free, recipes, tips, etc. And we actually used those databases to launch a new product, and we did a blast just with these tools, and specifically 4 weeks pre, 4 weeks post. I guess I lied, there's one more number in here. Business up 30% from when we did it. So we really are starting to use these tools to really effectively drive trial and drive engagement. So that's just another example. And lastly, just how do you pull all the elements together? About 3 years ago, I got a phone call from the guy next to Oprah there, and he said, I want to write a diet book. I want to feature some real brands in the book, and Oprah's going to be a part of the diet. And we came to talk to you guys because Oprah really likes Yoplait. And so naturally I returned that phone call. And I said, this is interesting to me, but quite honestly, it's harder for us to do something as a one-off. If you want to do something on Yoplait, that's great, we're happy to do that. But as a one-off, it's harder for us to really bring the full capabilities of General Mills. So by the time we were done, we had about 14 brands that were involved specifically with the diet. We realized that Bob Green was an exercise physiologist and not a food guy. And so about half the recipes in the book came from the Betty Crocker kitchens at General Mills. We had about 75 to 80 branded mentions in the book. And then we were able to tie it across everything that we did. We were able to deliver great visibility in store. We were in about 10,000 different retail stores with that. Obviously tied into all the Yoplait assets, and featured product advertising that was dedicated to the Best Life Diet, and then also put the Best Life Diet seal physically on about 500 million packages. So again, how do you use the breadth of what you do to really drive that message home? But probably the best thing came the day that the brand was actually, that was actually launched. This is a quick clip from the Oprah show, which would suggest that General Mills had a pretty good showing.
This is the year. Bob Green is back with big news. It's his brand new Best Life Diet. Bob teamed up with some big food companies like General Mills, and together they have developed an easy way for anyone to eat healthier. Look at your face on the cereal boxes. How did you do that? Green Giant has a Best Life brand. We're looking for this little brand, the Best Life brand. You are on the tree? How did you do that? Okay, that's pretty cool. And Honey Nut Oats from Cascadian Farm. Well, I'm not a soy milk drinker. I'm now a soy milk. You don't want to go. This is my favorite.
What's that? The yolk white.
It's 100 calories. This is the year.
All right, that was a good day.